It's a moonlit night. Count Dracula emerges with glowing eyes and razor-sharp fangs. Born from Bram Stoker's pen in 1897, this suave, cape-clad bloodsucker has become an enduring icon of horror, captivating millions across generations. From eerie classics like Nosferatu to family-friendly fun in Hotel Transylvania, Dracula has clawed his way through over 200 movies. His influence extends beyond the silver screen, swaying fashion trends and inspiring a lucrative industry of Halloween costumes and vampire-themed merchandise. But behind the myth lies a historical figure who inspired it all: Vlad the Impaler, a 15th century prince known for his brutal rule. How did this bloodthirsty ruler become the inspiration for the ultimate creature of the night? Join us on a chilling journey through history as we unveil the captivating story of the real Dracula. Get ready to be captivated and hungry for more. In 1431, the story of our star, Vlad III, begins. Born in Transylvania, present-day Romania, Vlad was anything but a typical child. His father was a part of the prestigious Order of the Dragon, which was like the Avengers but with more religious undertones, fighting against the rise of the Ottoman Empire. Little Vlad was literally born into a Game of Thrones episode where there were turbulences of power struggles and political maneuvers. However, if you're looking for a sweet and endearing childhood, I hate to break it to you, young Vlad's life had more twists than a pretzel. Before Vlad could learn the alphabet, he was sent as a hostage to the Ottomans, a diplomatic tactic as twisted as a horror film plot. While in captivity, Vlad was groomed to be a future ally, but beneath the lessons in warfare and governance, a sense of vengeance was brewing. Back home, things were far from rosy. Vlad's father was brutally dethroned and murdered, his older brother meeting an equally grim fate. These tragic events shaped Vlad into a hardened ruler, driven by vengeance and thirst for power. Once Vlad claimed his throne as the ruler of Wallachia, his reign took a turn darker than a moonless night. Vlad wasn't just a ruler, he was Vlad the Impaler. His taste for brutal justice created a reign of terror, and also bizarrely secured his position as a defender of his people. Isn't there a whiff of familiarity about this merciless yet protective figure? It seems like our vampire lord has some real-life inspiration after all. But keep your stakes ready. We're just getting started with the story behind the legend. Our protagonist, Vlad, wasn't just infamous. He was fear personified. No campfire story or horror movie could replicate the dread his name evoked. The reason? Vlad was exceptionally fond of a gruesome form of punishment, impalement. But don't be deceived. It wasn't some hasty act of violence, oh no. Vlad transformed it into a grim, ghastly art form. Impalement isn't for the faint-hearted, and neither was Vlad. He took the utmost care to ensure his victims lived as long as possible during this horrifying process. Picture it makes a blood-sucking vampire seem like a fluffy bunny, doesn't it? Thousands upon thousands were impaled during his reign, creating forests of contorted bodies that decorated the countryside and stunned onlookers. Enemies, traitors, and anyone who dared cross him met the same ghastly end, proving Vlad's taste for blood was literal in the most horrific way possible. But remember, Vlad wasn't just cruel. He was strategic and intimidating, ensuring his people and enemies alike knew exactly who held the reins. Sound familiar? Well, isn't that a striking parallel to the vampires we know and love? Brutal, yet intriguing. Feared, yet compelling. You see, Count Dracula wasn't born out of thin air, but influenced by a ruler whose reputation dripped with blood and terror. Isn't it interesting how Vlad's mixed reputation parallels the vampire mythos? Both terrifying and tantalizing, ruthless, yet seductive. In some cases, vampires, like Vlad, are seen as brutal, bloodthirsty beasts. Yet in others, they're viewed almost as anti-heroes, drawing a bewildering line between horror and fascination. From Impaler to inspiration, Vlad's story is as captivating as it is blood-curdling. As we delve deeper, you'll find the reality to be stranger and scarier than fiction. Whew, what a chilling journey we've had so far, right? If you're fascinated by this dark journey through Vlad's life and his, unique hobby, why don't you subscribe? Well, let's shift our gaze a bit, shall we? Vlad didn't just stroll into power, oh no. He had to claw, fight, and impale his way to the top. Like any good horror story, Vlad's reign was filled with twists, turns, and plenty of terror. It wasn't just a one-time deal either. Vlad's reign was a 3-part horror series, each time returning with a vengeance like some kind of medieval Jason Voorhees. This man battled through power struggles, treasonous boyars, invading Ottomans, all while treating his enemies to the sight of impaled bodies. His reign was a tumultuous storm of power, blood, and steel. Vlad didn't just want to rule Wallachia. He wanted to embody it. But here's where the plot thickens. Despite his undeniable cruelty, to many, Vlad was a hero. Yes, you heard it right, a hero. Imagine that. Our real-life Dracula, a symbol of national pride. Why, you might ask? Well, it's because he fiercely defended his land and people against invaders. In the face of a much stronger Ottoman Empire, Vlad stood his ground, showing the same bite we often see in our favorite on-screen bloodsuckers. In the end, he may have been brutal, but he was their brutal leader. To this day, Vlad is a national hero in Romania. There are statues of him, streets named after him, and even a bust in the Hall of Heroes. So you see, horror and heroism often walk hand in hand, much like our dear Count Dracula. He might make your blood run cold, but there's no denying his magnetic allure and heroism, both in fiction and reality. So, was Vlad a madman? A hero? A bit of both? We'll leave that for you to decide. But remember, just like the tales of old, nothing is as it seems. After all, every vampire story is laced with a touch of mystery, and Vlad's tale is no different. Just like a classic horror movie, our protagonist's exit from the scene is shrouded in a cloak of mystery. Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration behind the immortal Dracula, met his end as enigmatically as he lived. In late 1476, Vlad entered into his final battle. Despite his renowned ruthlessness, he was eventually overcome. The exact circumstances of his death, however, remain as murky as a vampire's lair. Some say he was assassinated by disloyal Wallachian nobles, while others suggest he was mistakenly killed by one of his own men. But here's the kicker. Just like any vampire worth their fangs, Vlad doesn't let death keep him down. His grave was said to be at Snagov, an island monastery near Bucharest. But when it was opened in the 1930s, empty. No Vlad, no remains, nada. Gives you chills, right? Just like Count Dracula, Vlad refuses to rest peacefully. The parallels are uncanny, and perhaps it's this mystery that gives the Dracula legend its enduring appeal. Even in death, Vlad echoes through the annals of history, living on as the infamous Count Dracula. forever lurking in the shadows of our collective consciousness. We leave the blood-soaked past and find ourselves back in the present, with vampires gracing our screens, filling our books, and capturing our imaginations. Vlad's legacy? It's clear. From the darkest corners of history, he has risen to become a modern-day icon of horror and allure. His gruesome reign, entwined with bravery and strife, fueled the creation of Count Dracula, igniting a multi-billion-dollar industry. Today, his tale of power, cruelty, and paradoxical heroism continues to influence the pop culture landscape, morphing into endless new incarnations of the vampire mythos.